Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, my son goes on a jolly during school hours. Shortish and, well, not sweet. Cinema says no single empty seats, Denmark's version. I might be getting my manager fired/in debt over this one. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My son goes on a jolly during school hours. My son 14 Asyam goes to a school who don't tolerate lateness. He is always pushing the boundaries each day as he likes extra snooze time in bed. A few weeks back, he just about made it into school on time even though it's a 5-minute bike ride. A teacher told him he didn't have his tie on and to go home and get it. Cue his malicious compliance. He returned back to school an hour later with a grin on his face and praise from the teacher for getting his tie. What they didn't realize is that he left his bike at school. He took a leisurely stroll home, taking in the sights. He ate a bowl of cereal when he got home. Put his tie on. Then, he went in the opposite to a McDonald's to get a double sausage and egg McMuffin as he was still peckish, and eventually took a leisurely stroll back. A 10-minute return trip took him an hour. The school was happy that he returned wearing his tie, oblivious to how close he lived. They even said in his yearly school report that he is always well dressed. He now occasionally forgets his tie on purpose so he can be sent home to skip a boring class, to get some food or have a little cheeky nap. He just needs to be back within an hour and knows he will be praised for being compliant with school rules. He owned up to this recently, but how can I be even slightly angry at him for playing the system? Absolute legend. Shortish and, well, not sweet. Note, for anyone who can't spot it without neon, the malicious compliance is described in the penultimate paragraph. During high school, I had a good friend group at church. One evening after a church meal, a few of us were standing around talking when Steve emptied the last of the sugar from the shaker into his tea, then thrust the empty shaker toward Joe, ordering him to fill this. Joe took the shaker and headed toward the kitchen. This sort of minor rudeness was just part of the dynamic. We were really all on quite good terms. Joe was the youngest of us and Steve was one of those frustratingly self-possessed people who never reacts much to anything. I only saw him really surprised a few times during the several years we were close. Joe returned after a moment with the shaker about half full and handed it to Steve, who made an elaborate show of pouring about 15 teaspoons into his cup, complete with comical faces and mouth movement, which I still clearly remember. Once he felt he'd added enough and stirred it thoroughly, he took a big ol' swallow, and spat, and sprayed it out on the floor. I don't know how Joe kept a straight face until then, but I'll always admire him for it. He had taken fill this literally, and carefully noting the omission of what to fill it with, had filled it with salt. The only real fallout was having to clean up the mess, which we all, while laughing, helped with. Cinema says no single empty seats, Denmark's version. So I just read a story similar to the one I'm about to write here. The other was just from the Netherlands, Holland. Me and my partner were going to see the new Avatar 2 movie and wanted some of the best seats. However, since we hadn't been in the cinema before COVID hit, they had changed their booking rules. So now you can never leave a single seat between you and someone else when booking. I get it, single seats are tougher to sell, but there was not exceptions to this rule. So the seats were sporadically booked, leaving only 3 open seats near the middle, best spots, and 5 on the outermost side near the stairs where everyone would be going past you. We couldn't book 2 of the 3 seats as that would break their rule, and I didn't want to sit and look to one side for the next 3 hours. There seemed to be no way to circumvent the rule during the booking process, but then I got an idea. What was their refund policy? Bingo! As long as you canceled the seats 24 hours before the movie, you can get a full refund. So I booked all 3 seats and entered a discount code, giving me 30% off. That ended up saving me the price of a seat. I then went down to the cinema, had to go near them and get groceries anyway, and talked to the staff. They refunded me the seat I didn't need with no hassle. So in the end we got to see the movie with the seats we wanted, and I only ended up paying for one of them. I might be getting my manager fired / in debt over this one. PR, payroll. INS, insurance. CPA, certified public accountant. I, F19, have been working for a business for close to 2 years, making close to nothing even though I am our diesel fleet manager. I do payroll, mapping, electrical / piping company, generally putting in 40+ HRS a week of dedicated hard work. Recently it has gotten too much. I would be able to handle the horrible pay and bad insurance, but my PR head is awful, F62. She is very religious, Christian, has told me for 2 years my beliefs are wrong, fighting with me no matter how many times I ask her to keep it out of the workplace. She has yelled at me previously multiple times, going as far as saying, and I quote, "I just know you're not going to the good place after death," insinuating I'm going to burn in hell. Mind you, all I have done at this point is have different beliefs than her. Now she has asked me to stay off PR for job security, greatly cutting my hours and taking away half my workload, so I did just that. I will not touch it no matter how much she is complaining. She now is struggling to get it all done in a timely manner, having to work until 8 p.m. and even messed up 2 checks last week. It's obvious she is struggling without my help. Fast forward to roughly 3 weeks ago, she is charging everyone extra insurance for the work they missed in 2022. Our work pays half ins. If you miss a whole week, at the end of the year you pay $$ back for whatever work covered. She asked me to check and see if people missed work that she didn't charge. I compiled to what she asked of me. So, I noticed she is doing it to everyone, but herself, so I took it into my own hands to see how much work she missed and if she owes money. Big surprise, she owes quite a large sum due to her 3 different 1 to 2 week vacations in 1 year. I know she won't charge herself for it, so I ratted to the boss. Our CPA is currently adding it up for her, 20+ years of work and likely no payback. She also has already been caught stealing about 10 years ago. She put tens of thousands on company card that was in my aunt's name. My aunt quit and gave her the company card to dispose of. Instead she used it for 5 years on personal use. She always told me to watch out for stealing employees. Edit, she just asked me for help on PR because it's too much for her. It's our last day to get it in, told her no and walked out. Couldn't help but smile on my way back to my office. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.